Welcome to our YouTube channel, where today we're diving into a crucial research topic. Explore whether China's lending practices lead to economic instability in the borrowing countries. We'll take you through the different chapters of this research. Importance of the research topic. The research topic, exploring whether China's lending practices lead to economic instability in borrowing countries, is of paramount importance due to its far-reaching implications for global economics and geopolitics. China's growing role as a major lender to numerous nations has raised concerns about the sustainability and sovereignty of borrowing countries, making this an urgent issue for policymakers and international organizations. Understanding the impact of Chinese loans is crucial for ensuring the economic stability and development of the countries involved, as well as for maintaining the stability of the international financial system. Real-world examples. The first example would be Sri Lanka's Hambantota port. Sri Lanka's experience with the Hambantota port is a vivid illustration of China's lending practices causing economic instability. In 2010, Sri Lanka borrowed heavily from China to build this strategic port. However, as the debt burden grew, the Sri Lankan government had to lease the port to a Chinese state-owned company for 99 years, raising concerns about its sovereignty and economic stability. Venezuela is another case where China's lending practices have played a role in economic turmoil. Extensive loans from China, backed by oil resources, contributed to Venezuela's crippling debt crisis. This crisis led to hyperinflation, mass emigration, and severe social and political unrest, highlighting the potential risks associated with large-scale borrowing from China. Chapter 1, Introduction. Chapter 1, the introduction, typically includes a concise presentation of the research problem, research significance, research questions, research objectives, and research rationale. It sets the stage for the entire research project, providing context and a clear understanding of what the study aims to achieve. Research problem. The research problem we're addressing is the impact of China's lending practices on the economic stability of borrowing countries. Many nations have experienced substantial debt from Chinese loans, raising questions about the long-term consequences. Research significance. This research is significant as it sheds light on the evolving dynamics of global economics and geopolitics. Understanding how China's lending practices affect borrowing nations can help governments, policymakers, and international organizations make informed decisions. Research questions. How do China's lending practices influence the economic stability of borrowing countries? What are the key factors that determine the impact of Chinese loans on recipient economies? How do different borrowing countries respond to the economic challenges posed by Chinese loans? Research objectives. To assess the relationship between the volume of Chinese loans and economic stability in borrowing countries. To identify the risk factors associated with China's lending practices. To analyze the various coping mechanisms adopted by borrowing countries to mitigate economic instability caused by Chinese loans. Research rationale. This research is essential because it provides valuable insights into the global financial landscape. With China's expanding role in international lending, it's crucial to understand how these practices affect the economic stability and sovereignty of borrowing nations. Chapter 2, Literature Review. Chapter 2, the Literature Review, comprises a comprehensive examination of existing scholarly works and research related to the chosen topic, providing a background on the subject. It includes an analysis of key theories, models, and concepts relevant to the research, identifies gaps in the existing literature, and lays the theoretical foundation for the study. The Literature Review (LR) chapter is vital because it lays the foundation for your research. It helps you understand what previous scholars have studied and what gaps you aim to fill. Suitable subtopics. History of China's lending practices. Case studies of borrowing countries' experiences. Theories and models for analyzing debt sustainability. Theories and models. Debt sustainability framework. This model assesses whether a country's debt is sustainable in the long run. For instance, Sri Lanka's experience with the Hambantota port demonstrates the potential challenges of debt sustainability. Dependency theory. This theory can be applied to understand how borrowing countries may become economically dependent on China. Literature gap. The literature gap in your LR chapter could be identifying a lack of research on the specific relationship between the volume of loans and economic stability in borrowing countries. This gap is what your research aims to fill. Chapter 3, Methodology. Chapter 3, The Methodology, outlines the research methods and procedures used to gather and analyze data. It encompasses details on the research philosophy, approach, strategy, choice, and data analysis method, offering a clear roadmap for how the research will be conducted. Conceptual framework. A suitable framework could involve 3 independent variables: volume of Chinese loans, economic diversification, and political stability, influencing the dependent variable economic stability. Research philosophy. A pragmatic research philosophy is recommended, as it combines positivism and interpretivism, allowing for a comprehensive analysis of both quantitative and qualitative data. Research approach. A deductive approach is suitable for this research as it allows you to test hypotheses derived from existing theories and models. Research strategy. A mixed method strategy is advisable, combining both quantitative and qualitative data collection and analysis methods. Data analysis method. Quantitative methods can be used to analyze data, focusing on statistical relationships between variables. Sample size could be determined based on power analysis and significance levels. Ethical considerations. Ethical considerations may include obtaining informed consent from interviewees and ensuring data privacy. For instance, when conducting interviews with government officials in borrowing countries, it's vital to respect their confidentiality. Limitations and delimitations. Explain the constraints and boundaries of your research, such as geographical or time limitations, ensuring that your findings are contextually relevant. Chapter 4, Data Analysis. Chapter 4, the Data Analysis section, is where the collected data is analyzed, interpreted, and presented to answer the research questions. It includes a description of how quantitative or qualitative data is processed and findings are presented, often using statistical methods or thematic analysis, depending on the research design. Quantitative analysis. Explain how to analyze quantitative data, mentioning that sample size should be determined statistically to ensure robust results. For example, you could employ a sample size of 300 respondents using a confidence level of 95%. Qualitative analysis. Describe qualitative data analysis methods, such as thematic analysis, and suggest an appropriate sample size, like conducting in-depth interviews with 15 key informants. Chapter 5. Conclusion and recommendations. The conclusion chapter is vital as it summarizes your findings and their implications, providing a sense of closure to your research. In the recommendations chapter, you can propose actions and policies based on your research findings, addressing the economic instability caused by China's lending practices. Suggestions for future research. Investigate the role of international organizations in mediating China's lending practices. Examine the environmental and social impacts of Chinese-funded projects in borrowing countries. Analyze the political implications of indebtedness on the sovereignty of borrowing nations. In our upcoming videos, we'll explore each chapter in more detail, so make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. Thank you for joining us today.